Everyone's looking for fast progression inside of Diablo Immortal, especially new players that are jumping into the game now, 3 years after the game is launched. There are definitely things that we can do every single day inside of the game to progress faster, but you will become in touch with some roadblocks along the way. There was a really great forum post that was put out today that I want to dive into, talking about someone that's struggling with their progress, with some really amazing advice given on how to basically deal with those struggles. Now, before we get into that, I want to briefly go over how the system works for leveling up your character. As you can see, we have our server paragon. The server paragon level is a set number. Mine at the current state of time is 750 for the server paragon level. Every single week, every 7 days, this goes up by 10. If you're below server paragon level, you'll be gaining additional XP rewards, up to something like 1,600 times the norm. If you're above server paragon level, as I am, as you can see, I'm 755, 5 levels above server paragon, I'm getting less rewards. So my progression in the game is actually slowed. This system is put in place so that people will not get too far ahead and so that people are able to catch up. But there are problems with the catch-up mechanic, and a lot of that has to do with what goes on here in Seeker's Path, being able to level up Heliquary, being able to get the demonic remains up to the level that you need to, and really just get a maxed or high level Heliquary, getting these bonus attributes as well. There are also going to be factors that slow things down, like your equipment levels, the gems that you're wearing, etc., etc. But let's go into this article, or this forum post I should say, because the question is clear, and it's a question I'm sure many of you are having, and the answers that I wanted to feature are actually really great answers. So let's dive in here. My progression slows down on Inferno 4. Please help me with suggestions. Now, it's also worth noting, guys, that your progression inside of the game in the beginning is going to be lightning fast, because you're getting so many times bonus, 800 times, 1,600 times experience. When I joined the game, it was 100%. You just get the experience and you grow. But players now are able to grow 16 times faster than anyone was on day one when the game launched. So now let's get into the question. I currently have 41,000 combat rating on Inferno 4 as a Necromancer, and I'm struggling to get 1,000 more combat rating for unlocking Inferno 5. All right, this is always the struggle, right? Going from one hell or one Inferno difficulty to the next. I have Inferno 4 set items with 19 level upgrades, and my primary equipment are around 2,300 combat rating per each with 18 level upgrades. Remember, they go up to level 30 for gear pieces. I don't really find equipment with higher combat rating anymore, because at some point you're reaching the point where the combat rating that you're getting, that you're seeing, that you're finding, is basically capped out for your Inferno or Hell difficulty. I assume my problem to get more combat rating might lie around the topic of Seeker's Path. I've reached 1,840 CR in Seeker rating, and I have level 33 in Heliquary. For quite a long time, I didn't participate in random dungeons, etc. with other players, and I just started to increase my Seeker rating after reaching the first Inferno level. Keep in mind, for reference, my Heliquary level was level 70. His level is 33. I've been playing since day one. Just for some context on rating numbers. I'm wondering if there's a reason of the struggle of 1K or more combat rating. Should I improve my Seeker rating, or are there other possible reasons that I'm missing? It might also be important to mention that I didn't pay a penny for the game yet, but I reached the limit of free playing, and I should pay for extra something to progress further. All right. So obviously we know that this is a massive pay-to-win game, maybe one of the largest ones. It doesn't mean you have to, but then you're going to have maybe some more difficulties in the areas such as this. There'll be stumbling blocks along the way. We have a couple of answers, and then we have a really large answer that I want to go to. So first of all, that question, or this forum post was from Bendy11. I think it's a great question that addresses questions that many players do have. So we have Kurotu answering, your low gear ranks and Heliquary levels are pretty much the reason you struggle to progress. But because those are low and likely below server levels, I think you should receive extra mats to help you catch up. Also, how far off are you from the ancestral tableau rating from your server rating? Combat rating is something you can't buy, or at least a meaningful amount, even in a pay-to-win game like this. So he's saying that his server rating is 1650, his tableau rating is 950. So having higher rating than the server should solve the problem. Will the server increase in amount over time? Fixed. And he talked about how I mentioned before, 10 per week. I want to scroll down to a really in-depth answer right here from someone that's extremely active in the forum. I'm talking about Meteor Blade. He breaks this down, and I thought it was good to share this with you. Let's see if I can get one. No, we're good, actually, right there. Your set item ranks at 19s are pretty decent for your combat rating level. However, you could ask nicely in world chat if someone would be willing to take you through some higher level challenge rifts to get those red crystals so you can rank them up further. Remember, when you run challenge rifts, you get the red crystals, and that allows you to upgrade your green, your secondary gear. There's stumbling points. You're going to get to a point where you just can't go any further because your combat rating is too low, the enemies are too difficult. When you reach that, you either have to wait until you get stronger, which is typically what I do, or you can get with a whale and they can kind of drag you through a whole bunch of levels, and you can artificially push up and upgrade your green gear, which is a smart thing to do. The reason that I don't do that personally is because then it's going to take me so long to be able to get to a point where I could solo things again, because I've been taken so far ahead by that larger player. When someone helps you like that, they'll take you through the challenge rifts that are multiples of 5, example 400, 405, 410, because they grant you 400 red crystals each. The ones in between are only worth 80 red crystals each. Not sure whether your server has helpful folks, but I was offering carries up to 430 all yesterday afternoon. Ask World Chat. I'm sure there'll be some people willing to help. I'll say we have a community here in Diablo Immortal that gets really angry and stuff about the game, but there are some amazing players inside of the game that help out smaller, often very free-to-play players in the game on pushing things like this. Also pushing Heliquary bosses, etc. I've met a ton of people over the years, and every server has these people that are willing to lend a helping hand. You just gotta make those friends, and the social system in the game, if you can get through some of the toxicity you may see in World Chat, will be able to help you. As for the legendary item ranks, there's no easy way around other than it will take, quite literally, months to farm enough scraps, dust, gold to get all 8 of your legendaries to rank 30. I'll be honest, I am on my last one now. I've been playing for 3 years, and I just have never sat and grinded farming for day after day after day. I've been more passive with it, I guess. But there's been people playing shorter than I have that have them at 30 already. That's clearly a nice way, an easy way to upgrade, although it's an extremely time-consuming one. However, as yours are currently rank 18, there's a large difference in combat rating granted between rank 18 and rank 30, and 8 slots of that is very likely to be over 1,000 combat rating in total. So getting those slots from 18 to 30 is going to offer a great jump, which is the reason for farming, which is why a lot of people will do open world farming and a lot of people will do AFK farming, because the grind is so big, but the reward is really there that they're just going to go out there, park their character, and do some AFK farming, which is an issue within itself. For your tableau, it's based on activity points, which you'll earn from the codex activities such as dungeons, raids, and so on. You get a bonus to the amount of points if you do those activities in a group. Raid, that includes at least one other member that is a friend, warband member, or clan member. So if you're going to spam dungeons, do it with a friend, warband member, or a clan member. Great tip right there to do things with friends. There's always been bonuses for doing things with friends inside of Diablo Immortal. This is another example of a way to do that. For your Heliquary, the upgrades to it rank take Void Blood Slag. This is how you get your Heliquary ranking up, which comes from salvaging boss remains that drop in raids. Primarily, there's some in the battle pass, there's some as rewards in areas, but it's a very minute amount. It's really about Heliquary. You only get remains from the first 5 raid bosses you do each reset, and the raids reset on Mondays and on Thursdays, which is why my clan and I, my warband and I, we do raids on Monday nights and raids on Thursday nights. We do 5 of each, and we're basically farming Heliquary and hanging out as a community, of course. The higher difficulty bosses drop remains with more combat rating on them, so ensure you're doing the 5 hardest bosses you're capable of each and every reset, not only to get good remains to put in your Reliquary slots, but also so you have as many as possible to salvage to increase the rank of Reliquary itself. So let's show you what that looks like actually. When we go to our Seeker's Path, and we go to our Reliquary right over here, you'll notice these remains we have in the center. Each of these remains, I can't show you right here, let's get it over here. Each of these remains gives you a bit of combat rating. And the better remains you could put in each of these slots, notice I'm getting different combat rating for each, you're getting different amounts of combat rating. So right here, I'm getting just under 500 combat rating. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, almost 2,500, let's say 2,300 combat rating we're getting from all of these demonic remains that are placed in, not to mention the attributes that you're gaining as well. These special attributes are only during challenge rifts or during Reliquary bosses themselves. And then, of course, as we said before, you can level Reliquary and get these levels up as well. And you have a little bit right here on the Seeker rating, 4,250 converts to 4,250 combat rating, Ancestral Tableau 1,756, upgrade equipment. You can see how the breakdown looks right here for our Seeker rating. All right, I just wanted to give a little bit more context on what that all looked like from my perspective inside of my game. One last tip would be a weekly quest in your codex, which requires you to consume 10 terror essences. So this means you'll need to do terror rifts. If you kill all 4 spires in a terror rift, you're 100% guaranteed to get a minimum of 1 terror essence, but you can get more, which is true. I often will get two, and sometimes even 3. 1 terror essence. Anyway, that's where you get your 10 terror essences. To consume them, you can either go to the bounty board and convert 4 bounties into 1 Hellslayer bounty, or you can go to the 4th tab on the inventory, click terror essence, and one of the options will be to use 1 to go to an Oblivion pillar. Hellslayer bounties and Oblivions have reward chests at the end that can drop some very nice legendaries. Also, the reward for weekly to consume 10 terror essences gives a legendary item that's 100% guaranteed to be a 3 out of 3. 3 attributes, 3 magic attributes that are exceptional, but will possibly be a 3 out of 4. 3 attributes and 4 magic. This reward will have the max combat rating for an item at whatever Paragon difficulty you are at. I think that Meteor Blade did an amazing job breaking this down, and I wanted to highlight the comment because of how thorough the answer was. Let's take it back into the game really quickly, and we can't forget about some of the other things that are going on inside of the game, like that we get from certain events. For example, the Valiant Guardians is where you have daily tasks, you do different things from your daily tasks, and then you earn these rewards. These rewards not only are going to give you Telluric Pearls and things like that for your for crafting gems, but they also give you these really amazing legendary chests. These legendary chests, I think I might have one we can go with right here. I could actually give you an example. Nope, these are not, that's not what this is one of them right here. Choose a legendary chest for a gear slot. Opening it will get you a random legendary for that slot. So what I do, these typically are very good items. I look at the combat rating on all of my pieces of gear. 2396, 24, 2376, 2375, 2375, 2372, 2383, 2383. So my lowest combat rating is the Sundred Legacy. It's an offhand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go here. I'm going to use this. I'm going to choose Mystery Legendary Offhand. Boom. This is because I was just grinding that. It's a very free-to-play way to get this gear. This is to get some of the best gear inside of the game. You click use and it pops you a new legendary. Now, let's see. This legendary is sitting with 2,405 combat rating. It's got more fortitude. It's got willpower and strength. Damage done to beasts, critical hit chance, critical hit damage. I actually like that. This is a better item right here. So I'm going to equip this. I literally just gained myself a 25, 28 combat rating just because of that. So I'm going to equip. I'm going to transfer. Boom. We just gained ourselves some some stats on it right there. And that's just because of this event that's been inside of the game that's basically hiding different events. The daily tasks are hidden within here. Look, Hellslayer bounties, spires, all these things, and even the events that you can do to push to get further and further down these rewards. It is not difficult to get these chests, and it's basically offering you some of the best gear that you could put on inside of the game. At least some of the highest combat rating gear inside of the game, so that you can just keep on progressing. And as you can see, I could actually do some upgrades here to my my secondaries as well, because I have recently been running a little bit of challenge rifts, push myself a little bit further, so I could even get an upgrade over there as well. So that's what it is, man. Diablo Immortal is a grind. It takes time. It takes farming. And it takes, if you want to go ahead and get all of these legendary gems where they need to be, and even really get these secondary gems as well, the normal gems up, it could take quite a bit of money. But you don't need to engage with that part of the game if you don't want to. You just have to find your way around the struggles. And I think that Meteor Blade answered those questions really well today, and I wanted to highlight it so that you all had a little more context. If you found the video valuable, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.